1. Picture it. Sicily, 1945. Actually, it's 2002. Somewhere in the US. It's Oktoberfest at an Irish pub that has an outstanding beer selection. You want it? We probably got it. The crowd at this amazingly awesome establishment, no sarcasm, truly one of the best I've been to in the US, food, folks, and beer-wise, is somewhat, collectively diverse. It's about 2,200 hours, people are sloshed from the pub crawl, and a 3-city block outdoor beer garden. Intense to say the least. A raucously excellent time, but without any real issues. We've got early 2000s hipsters, yuppies, Paris Hilton wannabes, an older crowd. All types of folks are shoved in this 2-story madhouse. We stopped serving the full menu around 7 p.m., but there are pretzels, bratwurst, beer, cheese, what have you outdoors. For 3 goddamn blocks. Plenty of carbs to soak up all the libations that have been poured down your gullet. Huge signs, couldn't miss them. The girl here is upstairs slinging beers, having a ridiculously fun time, and here comes Paris Hushmoney's half-sister with less plastic and fake hair. You could smell her knockoff Chanel No. 5 and vodka cranberries, a good 40 feet before you ever saw her over-contoured Max Factor pancake make-upped, glossy-eyed and glitter-lipped face. I'm not judging, just setting the scene. Take it how you will. Paris decides it's high time to saunter over to invade my and my guest's wicked cool gathering, and make her presence obnoxiously known. A highly intoxicated baby Bambi on stilts cresting a freshly frozen pond, ambulated better than this chick. She crawls her way through the 5-deep gathering of patrons waiting patiently in front of me, while screams slurring what heinous concoction her drunk ass required immediately. Forget the fact that there's a slew of well-behaved, well-mannered friends in front of her. They step aside and let her through. I caught the eyes of a handful of guests, and they knew some backward-ass shit was about to go down. Great Value Malibu Barbie lays her torso across the bar, grabbing for me. I saunter up. Hey there, what you drinking? Clearly not about to put alcohol within her reach. Wash I see? Alright. I pour water, Coke, and a splash of grenadine and some lemons in a glass, slide it to her. $7.50, peaches. Did she just call me a fish? Pardon, my Russian is a bit rusty. A slur of verbal diarrhea of whatever the fuck else she was trying to say. And I was like, $7.50, cash. Turned to talk to the supremely chill dude, tattooed Greek god I've been making eyes at all night, sitting at the bar. A burning comes across my face like Satan took a piss on me from the depths of Hades that somehow defied the laws of physics. It stung, if you will. As I turn, Great Value Malibu Barbie reaches out to grab my top. Sorry, hun. I had to put Vaseline on to wear this. You ain't getting a hold of anything fabric. Satan's acrylic French-tipped nails snap down my cleavage. I got bills to pay. I step back and just stare. What in the actual fuck is happening right now? I'm not even kidding when I say the record scratched, and both stories of this pub fell silent. I heard a purse fall and a hushed fuck from downstairs. She decides to up the ante. She swings quite poorly, and I may or may not have stepped into it. My dad always said, never start a fight, but you fucking finish it. Daddy dearest words bellowed through my brain that was flashing red. She made contact with my left cheek, with about the force and gentleness you'd probably pat a baby's back to burp him. She pulled away just a bit, and the words, "Oh shit," lit up in neon across her face like the Guinness sign behind her. I stepped forward a little more, belly button touching the bar, with a Cosmo-worthy smile, and calmly asked, "Is your Long Island iced tea okay? Are you ready to tab out?" She makes the grave mistake of coming almost completely over the bar and grabs my hair. As y'all know about stereotypical girl fights, scratching and weave-pulling always comes first. Unfortunately for Great Value Malibu Barbie, I don't fight like that. I grew up in Richland County, South Carolina. Crime rates are what you'd say a touch high. My father was in special forces. If I'm going to throw a punch, I'ma make it count. Since she made her way over my bar, throwing hands like she was drowning, I knew I was obviously in immediate danger, so were my guests. Action must be taken swiftly and forcefully, for the greater good. I grabbed her by her hot pink lacy camisole, pulled her the rest of the way behind the bar, and dragged her down the galley to the service elevator. As I'm waiting for the door to open, she wriggles her way back from me, and she throws another punch. I was surprised, as this one actually had a little bit of stank on it. Well, now I get to legitimately defend myself in the view of hundreds of witnesses. I clocked her with the speed of Joe Louis and threw her in the elevator, ass over tea kettle. No wonders either. Lindsay Lohan would have been proud. She was removed in an orderly fashion by security into the police cruiser that was also patiently waiting for her. I pressed charges and I walked with over 3,000 in cash money and a couple of battle scars. 10 out of 10. Would do it again. 2. So for 6 or so years I used to work at a fast food chain. I finally freed myself back in October. Some info. Our store was pretty much the best in our town when it came to speedy and accurate service. Even before lobby was closed due to COVID, we'd have double lines going all the way into the main street. We have a big parking lot, so you can imagine the line length. At drive-thru, we'd frequently have people come up to the window and admit they're surprised by how fast it was. Like, we have a screen at our window that lets us see how fast we're getting our drive-thru orders out compared to other franchises in our region, and we were almost consistently in the top 5. Generally, we also had a pretty friendly staff during my tenure, save for this one employee who always worked as an order taker but had the worst customer service attitude I'd seen in that role. And I worked almost exclusively at the window. We only have one window, handling payment, last-minute order changes, and giving customers food, basically being the one they had face-to-face interactions with. And I was a good employee, if I say so myself. I may have hated the job with a burning passion hotter than the flames of hell, but when I was on the clock, I was always friendly and energetic when interacting with customers. Our boss would always post the best reviews we got of the previous week, along with the biggest complaints we got, so that we know where we did great and where we sucked. But my sis, now assistant manager there, would frequently look at the online reviews we would get just for fun, and let me tell you, some of the bad reviews were just ridiculous, hilarious, or nonsense. One person had left a 1-star review citing that they won't be eating here anymore because a vegetable is not a burger, in reference to our vegetarian burger that we had started selling. Like, if you don't like a veggie burger, don't order a veggie burger. You seriously dumping us because you cannot eat at a restaurant that has vegan and vegetarian options? Another was complaining about the homeless guy who spent every day last year sitting in front of our store at the outside tables. He apparently lived in a low-income apartment a few blocks down, so not actually homeless. No complaints about what he did, just essentially complaining that he existed. Said he is mentally ill. We did suspect he was from how he acted, but it was not our business to know or ask. And that we should get rid of him, as he will hurt someone and it will be our fault. Going on to cite that mentally ill homeless people in San Francisco and Washington frequently hurt people. Which I mean seems ableist as fuck. But I get she was probably misguided and concerned for safety. Manager specified we won't do anything as A, he is a paying customer, buys food twice a day, B, he generally stays to himself and does not bother anyone. Just stays outside and rarely anyone uses the outside tables. We've only had to warn him once when he was dumping beer into our grease traps in the back, but for the most part he kept to himself, never bothered anyone. Hell, he didn't even go inside the building itself unless to use the restroom or buy food. Haven't seen him in a while. Hope he's doing good. My favorite? The 1-star review on Google which legit just said, "Too many Indians." Like, dude! First of all, super racist. Secondly, our town has a large Native American population, and so most businesses have a sizable amount of Native American employees. Don't like? Move to a different town. I actively despised the job. It was 6 years of hell, and boy do I got a lot of stories of different incidents. From a car that spent 15 minutes at the window, to 4 years working a different branch during college, and the homecoming night mayhems that happened every year there, to old men yelling at high schoolers, to the point they cried because of store policy. 3. The place I currently work part-time due to reduced hours is a production brewery with a really nice but not currently open taproom inside, and a more than serviceable beer garden outside. To cut right to the chase, we have these 18-volt battery-operated blowers, Ryobi Defender, for cleaning. There is a reservoir for a steramine and sanitizer solution. The machine ionizes the solution, and it comes out as a mist onto the table or surface that we aim to clean. My coworkers and I love them because it really takes 90% of the manual cleaning out of our hands. Now, they are kind of loud, like a small leaf blower, and when you first see and hear it being used, it can be a bit jarring and confusing. But after seeing it used correctly, one might realize the effectiveness and hopefully appreciate the goal. Well, that is unless you're a really smart person that loudly spews their opinions, or in the case of my interaction the other night, work in the medical field, as a nurse, not a virologist, and believe that somehow gives your ideas more merit than they actually deserve. So this nurse was more or less clowning on our use of these machines and actually asked me, "What the fuck do you guys use those things on wooden picnic tables?" That is verbatim the first thing he said to me. So I respond, "Well, first of all, these things make our jobs way easier by decreasing the amount of time and energy it takes to clean, thus creating more time to help guests and manage the flow of the beer garden." After his friend told me that the skeptic is a nurse, I said, "I'm sure you know this from your line of work, but people are kind of disgusting, especially when it comes to eating and drinking, not to mention doing stuff like picking their nose and or putting their chewing gum on or under tables and so on." I continued with, "I've been in this business 25 years, and although nothing surprises me anymore, such as the way people ask questions, I would rather overclean something that might seem like overkill than have to do it manually or not do it at all. Would you rather us take one of those approaches instead?" He didn't have an answer. He somewhat indignantly thanked me for clarifying why we use the Defender, and then asked, "So why the hell aren't you open inside yet?" Again, very rudely. This is an easy one to answer, and I went on to tell him, "The production team at the brewery is probably the most important part of the business, because of the amount of beer that is shipped out of it to area bars, restaurants, liquor stores. If one of them gets sick, then the whole place has to shut down, and that will obviously affect the business way more than letting up to 100 or so people drink inside on a couple nights a week basis." This time my response was met with much less cynicism as he said, "Oh wow, of course. I've never thought of it that way. And it makes so much sense." Thus furthering the point of why we are so hell-bent on cleaning. My point is this: we all have opinions, and we know there is a saying that goes with that. But one does not have to be an asshole while sharing their opinion, skepticism, criticism. If one's opinion comes from a place where they assume that they know everything, or they know the best way to do something, one then comes off as quite pompous and very out of touch when they are given an answer that not only makes sense, but disproves their opinion. If you choose to dine in or make use of an establishment's outdoor seating, don't just outright criticize the way the business is doing it right now. The majority of us are doing the best we can with the systems created that best fit our business. The best way for someone to help out is by not sharing their opinion on how it should be done, but by following the protocols that businesses have put in place. They will not only reduce the stress placed on the staff when people do not follow the rules, but they might actually end up with a free beer or something for being cool about it. Trust me when I say that all of the ideas to do this or that have been thought of and considered. Our systems, I can say, were not thrown together overnight, and there is an overwhelming number of people that have thanked us many times for doing it the way that we are doing it. They know the way onto the comp check. One Saturday afternoon, it was very windy, but it was dead out there, like no customers at all, except like one or two, because when it's really windy, it's really hard to hear the customers in the drive-thru. And also, our mic is shit, so they can barely hear us. The Latina girls was taking orders. An elderly lady's order, and it went like this. "Welcome to McDonald's, go ahead and order whenever you're ready, please." Can I get a 4-piece chicken nugget Happy Meal, please? Yeah, what kind of sauce drink inside would you like?
I want to get some sweet and sour, a Coke, and extra fries.
Alright, and is this Happy Meal going to be for a boy or a girl?
A boy.
I'm sorry, what? The wind is howling in her ears.
A boy?
I'm sorry, but can you repeat that one more time, please? Wind is still howling, but kind of died down.
A boy!
Alright, ma'am, I got it now. Anything else?
A large black coffee.
Alright, any creamers or sugars?
I just said black. Do you not understand what that means?
The wind has died down at this point, so the woman is screaming pretty loud. Okay, ma'am, there's no need to scream. Is that going to be all?
Yes!
Alright, your total, and they gave the total, at the first window. Please pull forward. The lady pulls up to the first window and starts yelling at her and saying racial slurs. Nice Kid looks at Coworker 1 with a look of fear in his eyes. Coworker 1 takes the lady's money and gives her the change, and she pulls up to the second window. Me and Coworker 2 are at the second window handing out food and drinks, and she pulls up and it went like this. I hand the coffee and Coke to the grandma. Nice Kid takes the Coke without a word.
That woman in the first window is very rude.
I'm sorry, but she said you were the one being very rude.
No, I wasn't.
Coworker 2 stops bagging the food and comes to see what's going on.
What's going on?
She said our coworker was very rude, but she wasn't. Coworker 2 walks toward the window to talk to the entitled grandma. What's the problem, ma'am?
That man and that woman in the back were very rude to me.
I'm sorry, but how were they rude to you?
They were accusing me of being rude and racist when I wasn't.
The manager walks over. I'm sorry, ma'am, but you were the one being rude to them, so you can either stop being rude, get your food and leave, or you can keep this up and get banned.
Fine, I'll wait.
Manager walks away. Entitled grandma continues to act up, though, and it catches the attention of my GM.
You people all suck. Why are you guys so slow?
I'm sorry, ma'am, but what you ordered had to be cooked, but it's almost done. So you can wait a little longer, please. By the way, for those who work at McDonald's as well, we didn't park her because it was pouring outside, and we didn't want to send someone out there. GM walks over and talks to entitled grandma.
Ma'am, can you please stop? Well, they're taking too long.
I'm sorry, but you're going to have to wait. This made her mad.
Well, hurry up, you dumb bitch.
Ma'am, can you please not use that language?
No, give me my food now.
Alright, enough is enough. Get out of here and never come back.
Well, you can all go to hell.
Entitled grandma then proceeds to open her coffee and throw it at my GM. Nice Kid is just staring daggers at her and is screaming as she drives away. My GM suffered first-degree burns and was fine. We never saw the entitled grandma again, and we're glad. 5. A batshit crazy customer from months back. It was this lady who ordered seafood enchiladas and something else. She had first claimed there wasn't any seafood in the enchiladas, so the server had them remade. She then wanted them to go, so the server got them boxes. She was very rude the entire time and she left. She was the first customer for the day. 7 hours later, she calls us. Here's the conversation. I took the call.
I was earlier. I never got my seafood enchiladas.
I'm so sorry about that, ma'am. You can come back and pick some up if you'd like.
No, I need them delivered.
I'm sorry, ma'am. We aren't doing deliveries anymore.
What the fuck do you mean? Look, I live an hour drive away. I can't come pick them up. I need them delivered.
Like I said, I'm sorry, but we don't do deliveries.
I want to speak to the owner and high up of your restaurant.
I'm sorry, but they're not here right now. You can call back another time if you'd like.
That is so unprofessional and unacceptable. I'd like to speak to the manager and tell them about this.
Okay, ma'am. Let me put you on hold real quick. I go tell the acting manager and servers about this crazy lady. The manager is just one of our bartenders. Usually, the bartender is the manager for the day when our managers aren't working. We're a local restaurant in a small town, far from fancy or anything, so I knew the lady wouldn't be impressed with her answer. Even if it were a manager, they would tell her the same thing I did. The server who served her immediately knew who I was talking about, and showed me that she did indeed get her seafood enchiladas, and they remember bringing her one in a to-go box. So we realized she was full of shit. Manager was already stressed and said they couldn't think of how they would deal with her without being completely rude back to her. After that, I tried to see if she was still on the phone, so I could give her the owner's number or something. The amazing part, she had hung up. We never called her back either. Didn't need to, because she was being nothing but a shitty customer and just wanted some free food delivered to her. I think even if we were doing deliveries at the time, no one would have done it. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Spinning Plates, episode 134. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. If you liked the video, then please do boop the like button. It's kind of like tipping your server. Optional, technically. And leave a comment if you haven't subscribed already. Fair enough, but if you want to see more videos from me, then hit subscribe as well. Or maybe just click it in a normal manner. You don't want to break your screen. Let's see, Saturday night. Well, it is the Hellfreezer gaming stream at some point tonight. It looks like I'm going to get my video done at semi-early. Earlier than I have been for the past week or so. So that'll give me plenty of time to get organized for this stream. Okay, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourself.